All right, this is John, and once again, we're back here at Flintopia, which is just around the corner and down the road from where the studio is at. And it's, I think, something near and dear to me because I like seeing what you guys are doing here. So anyway, we're going to start off with EJ, and we're going to talk about why we're gathered here today.
So this is summer season 2014 at Flintopia, and we're in a brand new place. We wanted to update everyone as to what's going on. But I noticed last time when we got the perspectives of some of the volunteers, it seemed a lot more interesting because we can just talk and it gets really boring, let's face it. So I just really wanted to get everyone here because they all have different, this young lady here is brand new, Alvin. He is one of the few fellows, or he's the only person who comes down and is not part of Resource Unit C. He just volunteers his time. He does not get paid. Dale is one of our first volunteers. He lives just a few doors down and he's been indispensable since we moved into the building. And of course my father came on from Florida originally when we started the idea. And this is Sammy next to me. He's a soil biologist, violinist, and general extraordinaire. So we've assembled, this isn't the flow we get every day. Alvin's usually here every day. But we have volunteers at differing levels, and Dale and Sam generally manage the volunteers and work with them. And my father is, doing what he does, which is being on the phone a lot and taking care of business, coordinating where the vehicles have to be, logistics, all that kind of fun, happy stuff. So
anyway, if you pull, I apologize when you listen to this with the panty, you could be picking up because I got a very stiff. Tripod. Anyway, so we'll start with the ladies first. I mean, I guess even in that era, this era, it still counts, right? So we'll start with Stephanie. Okay, Stephanie, you're brand new here, right? You just okay.
Yeah, I came at like 11 or something.
Talk a little bit. We're sitting across the room from each other here, so.
Yes, it's my first day.
Yep.
I was told that I could come down here, and it was a great place to volunteer, and I've seen it, I've passed it, but I've never been in here, or I didn't really know.
Why don't you tell what you've been doing today?
I started off weeding the garden, and then I have been planting vines and pumpkins around next to the buildings.
Have you ever done anything in the garden before? A garden before?
A little bit, not this much.
Yeah, because it's going to be.
No.
I always hated weeding when I was a kid. It was like my dad would say, I want you to weed when I'm at work. And it was like, it was boiling hot out. I'm a kid. I got a short attention span. I'd weed a bit, and then they all started looking like. Then he'd say, you ripped up this plant. It looked pretty close to the weed you said it was. So, anyway, it's like, and at this now, you guys actually actually have this plan to avoid a lot of issues with weeding too, the way it's like laid out and mulch and the fields are laid out. So
yeah, the permaculture design ensures that it's the least input for the most output. So the smallest amount of work for the largest amount of yield, and that's the system that we learn with permaculture. The ethics are care for earth, care for people, and share the abundance. But it also includes energy systems, growing systems. Basically, it's an integrated system approach, so that way you can manage your resources at maximum efficiency.
Right.
You always produce more than you need, so you can give it away, sell it, all that kind of stuff. There's all kinds of products that can be made from the things we're growing.
So Stephanie, do you ever think you're going to be part of urban gardening or sustainable living? Never had any idea whatsoever about this.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't imagine myself coming out and, starting to come someplace where I'm going to be doing all of that. But I like it.
Yeah.
It's something new to me, I guess, but
You got these characters to work around.
I know.
Anyway,
we're all good characters.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with us.
No rewrites, and you weren't created during a writer's strike. So, but I think that might be interesting. You might want to think about that. Maybe have a reality show based on Flintopia. We could talk about that later. But, yeah. But anyway, so Alvin, it's like you're a local guy and you're right here in the neighborhood and you're a lifelong resident. How long?
Yep. I've lived in Flint my whole life.
And how long has that span of time been?
29 years.
Okay, so it's like you're not some wet behind the ears teenager, just outside of that range, but anyway. And did you ever do any gardening on your own, your family's gardens, farms?
I I have done a little bit of gardening in the past, yes. There have been times where I'd help my aunt plant her tomatoes and her different vegetables she do in a home garden.
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit. This is like this on a bigger scale to some degree, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
And the premise, I like the premise that it actually encourages people to come in and work
It does.
with it. Yeah. No, it's like, what do you hope to see come on? I'll ask that for Stephanie too. But first, go to Alvin because we got him on the viewfinder right now. What would you want to see this develop into? What's your vision, your ideas for it?
What I'm looking to see is exactly what the goal that we have is to better the east side of Flint. To make it to where it's, and as I tell everybody, to where it's not a war zone. It's more of a happier.
A peace zone?
Yes. It's
So-
more of a happier zone where everybody can be around everybody and relax. Everybody can maybe once a month or something come out and have a bonfire or come out and just hang out and have a good time.
Okay, I think that's pretty admirable aims.
That's what I'm hoping to see come out of this.
Now, Stephanie, now you live in the neighborhood or area too, or
I do. I
Okay.
just live right down the road.
okay?
And I just finished moving. I'm glad to be out of this area, but I'm also glad that this program is here to make this area better.
Now, what would you like to see develop out of this? So,
I don't know a whole lot about it yet, so
Okay.
I don't. But where it is now, and I can, since it's just starting up, the growth in it and how much it'll benefit this side of town will be great.
yeah. So, anyway, we'll go down, shift down here, and we'll get to these old timers here in a minute. It's a couple minutes. So, well, old timers is well in both manners of the term, but I guess. But we got to talk to this guy, right? Sam, right?
Yeah.
Sam, actually, you signed on for almost like a permanent basis. You moved to Flint.
Mm-hmm.
Where from?
From Fairfield, Iowa, where I was attending college with Eric. And after I finished my soil trek, I decided to come down here and start full-time with Flintopia and continue through the fall and winter.
So it's like somehow you just got sucked in by the lobby or something like that and got fascinated by the place or what?
Well, me and Eric, when it was first getting built and the ideas were thrown around, I was involved in that a lot with the rest of the guys that were. Sam's been there since the very first, like the dawn. He was there on the trip when the concept even started, so he was been there from day one. But yeah, no, I was here last year when we were outside on the pier in the tents, and I really enjoyed it, and I saw where it was going and that it was really growing. So I decided I wanted to be part of that this year too.
So it's like, I guess it's a situation is like you would ask a fireman why they go to fires, and I say that's where the fire's at. So I mean, that's I guess basically there's a fire going on here, or there's a situation going on here, and you want to be part of that. I mean, the solution to that,
Yeah.
and maybe create a positive fire in a sense. But yeah. So now, where are you originally from though? Were you from Iowa? Or?
Yeah, I'm originally from Kelowna, Iowa. That's where I grew up. It's the largest Amish settlement west of Mississippi.
Now, I don't want to get too personal. Are you from an Amish background yourself, or?
No, not particularly Amish. I lived with the Amish, and some of my siblings were birthed by an Amish midwife.
Okay.
But we lived amongst them, and my dad had a corporate job, so we were pretty strict, but we weren't Amish.
Now, your dad's a corporate man, and you're doing this kind of stuff, which basically is going to be, kind of a tough living standard. You're going to have to really struggle to make ends meet.
Mm-hmm.
And what has he been chiding you for this choice, or?
Well, no, basically, my older siblings, they've been doing this before me. They haven't really corporatized, they haven't gotten a corporate job per se. My older brother lives in a community in North Carolina. So my dad just kind of expected it really, and but he's supportive for sure.
That's good. I mean, it seems like he's not really like, looking down on this or frowning on it or beating you up over mentally or anything.
Supportive.
So anyway, and your specialty is soil?
Soil biology, yeah.
So you analyze the soil?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a microscope. And once things get rolling, I'll set up a compost lab, and I'll be able to make controlled thermal compost. And then that'll be made into tea extracts and stuff like that.
and hopefully that will become a pretty firm business in of itself, and it'll provide an essential need to remediate all the soil around here.
Yes.
So,
Now, there's a lot of brownfield sites around Flint. Would you be like willing to expand beyond the scope of, Flintopia and the neighborhood, more on the east side, and you want to maybe go across the river where the old Buick City site was at, maybe assist anybody who wants to go on there, maybe to, redeem the soil?
Once the resources are available and we can get sprayers and stuff, we could take them anywhere that's needed. And we would just go analyze the soil, decide what we would need, make the compost tea or the extract, or just use compost, and then we would apply it to the land and start the remediation.
See, I was interested in because I used to raise poison dart frogs, which my friend's into that. He's one of the biggest producers in the United States. Real oddball career, and he never went to college for anything. He's one of the best. He lives outside of Chicago. But anyway, there was like these little tiny animals we see the vivariums with, and basically they're there to clean up. Plus, they're all the frogs I'll see. They're called springtails.
Right.
Well, there are like thousands of varieties of them across the world. But I know that certain types of them, actually, certain species of them actually can be instrumental in breaking down the components of DDT, contamination. Well, Eric and EJ and I have been talking about before the work of using mushrooms and fungi to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. And it's like, have you ever specialized? Have you have any knowledge about that, or
Well, I do know by building the soil food web within the compost, and I was trained by Elaine Ingham, who's a world-renowned soil scientist. And I was taught that and shown that if you build the soil food web, which is everything from the archaea to bacteria to the micro and macro arthropods, if you have all of that in place, it allows for complete nutrient cycling. So once this gets cycling through, it automatically remediates the soil and takes out the toxins, because there's a full chain of feeders that as it moves up from level to level, it gets more uncontaminated as it goes up. And in that aspect, I have worked with that. But I had taken some mushroom classes in school that I think permaculture, where we witnessed that and saw how mushrooms can, bioremediation, mushrooms can remediate.
And I was surprised too when I read it was like when mycelium running the book. They actually say when the mushrooms are used to reclaim the soil and try to take the negative chemicals out of it, those mushrooms are edible with no possibility of hurting the people eating them. So I think that's remarkable too. Of course, I would just say just for safety practice, like the first couple of crops, go, and then just you use it once, the next crop after that was. But I think it's a significant reduction too of contamination levels. So, anyway, I don't want to bore everybody with that, but I'm personally fascinated by that kind of stuff because that's so. I remember when U of M, when I was working there, they had a parking lot that they were going to build a building on, the library, and they actually had the contamination going there from a former industry base that was set up there. There was a railroad yard, and there was a lot of contamination from chemicals leaking out of different, cars and stuff like that. And they had to clean that whole site up, and it was a very expensive process before they could actually build another building there. So, if we could use these less costly measures instead of, they had to basically dig up all the soil, find a place to put the soil, and then put new soil on before they dug the place up again after they put the new soil on. Really, really involved process. So,
Flint ranks as one of the top brownfield cities in the nation per capita. I don't remember the exact, but if you Google that, you can find it yourself. But yeah, the mushrooms and the compost are really what's going to allow us to, Paul Stamets, as we talked about,
right.
John, we'd love to do an interview with him, of course. But we'd love to bring something like that here to make a plan for the city, because there's so much that can be done. It's really quite amazing what you can accomplish.
Even specific plants can
right.
be used.
Yeah. My thought is, even as a kid, when I heard about pollution stuff, that I said, I was told by my parents, they said, that's a bad concern. You shouldn't pollute, but it's also, the world's been around here for a long time. All the chemicals that are coming out here, we consider pollution, originally come from the Earth itself. There's something out there that will actually help break that down again. And my parents were prescient. They're like far-sighted, and they weren't like college educated and they profound biology or biochemistry or anything. But that was their reason, and it seems to be on target, from what I've seen. So we're going to go swing down here and pick up the conversation we had with Stephanie and Alvin. And anyway, you two, like okay, we'll start with Stephanie. What do you see yourself doing maybe, say, 4 months in this? Because, this would be a limited time where you're going to be actually in the fields and, working with gardens, because Michigan, we got a pretty short growing season. Do you see your involvement with Flintopia, continue during the fall and winter as well, or?
Yes, I would hope to. I don't know where I see myself doing it.
Let me help you out. So most people think of us as an urban farm.
Mhm.
We do urban farming. We do gardens. What we really do is permaculture, which is all of that all together. And so it's green, social, and education. Those are the three things that we want to cover, which is permaculture.
Right.
People are intimidated by the word permaculture because they don't understand what it means, but it's really just dinner with friends, and it's free energy. You don't have to pay for your light bill or your water. So the kinds of things we want to develop, we really want to find an opportunity for people, whoever they are, to find their passions and pursue it, whatever it might be. So she's here gardening now. We'll have greenhouses. We intend to supply jobs through greenhouses, food sharing programs, crop sharing programs, but there's all kinds of other things. We want to develop the nextdoor.com. Time Bank Tom's officially are coming on as on the team as our treasurer. We have our secretary now, and someone building the website, and our grant writer. So we're going to have all kinds of different programs, and they're not just going to be green. That's only 1/3 of our mission. So if you can imagine working with kids in so many different capacities, really we want to cater to artists and musicians, and we're going to have art everywhere, and we want to promote, just kind of, we're going to have a stage back here and have little events where people bring their coolers and have movies in the park type stuff, and there's all kinds of little things. Also just being a kind of going door to door and arranging for people to have potluck dinners. A friend of ours from, where's Latoya from?
Texas.
No, her family's from Trinidad. And she said that when her grandmother, the thing they would do every Sunday was, all of the grandmothers or a bunch of people would all cook a different soup. And so the kids in the neighborhood would ride their bikes or run from house to house and have little cups of soup, right, all over the neighborhood. And we have enough houses in here that are good, that people are taking care of their houses, they're invested, they've been here, they're staying here, and to where we can do simple things like that and do simple community events like that. And so those, really the sky's the limit. If you can think of an idea that you could use to impact the community or help people, we're willing to help you do that. So that's how we see Flintopia. It's not really about us accomplishing a goal. It's about helping, because we came here, you said, to better the east side of Flint, right? Yeah. But our original intent was to better Flint. And we just happened to come over to the east side because I'm from the east side, and we ended up, this is the green zone. This is one of the largest green zones. We found this great building here. My father found this great building here. And our intent is to help Flint and the people of Flint in any way, shape, or form that we can. Whether it's through clean food or just showing up with a gas can when they break down around the corner, stuff like that.
So I think your guys' efforts, you continue growth. I see a lot of stuff around here they have a false start. They had all this energy, they had money, and they just fizzled. And now every time I come here, there's something, there's progress being made. And that's encouraging, because after a while, you hope for the best. And I'm a very cynical person by nature. I'm very pessimistic. And after so many times you see false starts, people absconding with funds, people who have basically little kids get sidetracked by another bright, shiny thing to do. And it's it gets really discouraging to see a lot of energy and time just being dumped in those kind of things, and then not see it come to fruition. That's it angers me, because it's you guys got something else going on. Basically, it was a cause of the week, cause of the month, whatever. Anyway, we'll swing down here to Alvin and Dale. So you guys both know each other pretty well working here, right? So
Yeah.
So it's this represents kind of an age, of course. EJ, and there's a generational difference here.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah, there sure is.
And that's what I think it shows great thing to point to, that people of all ages are trying to work together to do this. And so it's now, Dale, you've been involved pretty much 4, 5, 6 months in this project so far?
I've been involved since October last year.
Okay, longer.
And I've been here since, we just got in the building. We've come a long way from this building. It was a wrecking here. And Eric and I, over the winter, we made amazing progress in this building. And yeah, it's a sense of accomplishment, you know. And then the whole program itself, what I see it as is a community character building process. I think it's adding character to the community, and we're engaging with the locals, and I'm making everybody feel better about the east side. And I've been on the east side since I was 17. And I'm 57, so that's 40 years.
Right.
And I've seen it, you know, at its peak, and I've seen it at its bottom. And it's just amazing that you ignite a little bit of spark in the neighborhood. And there's people around that are really happy that we're here.
Right.
And I just think it's an amazing thing.
So, and anyway, I'm swing down to the father and the now how you got involved because of your son. And
Yes,
he
correct.
basically, I did that to my parents. I signed my parents up for lapidary. I thought it sounded cool, and they had schools, classes offered at our community school down the, it was Williams School. And they had after school programs for people who weren't even, so I signed them up for lapidary. I had a vague idea of what it was, and came home and told my mom, I said, well, you owe Mr. Fred Retman, who was a community school director, $30. She goes, what for? And so I signed you up for lapidary, and she goes, what's lapidary? But actually, there was a good thing for them, because they continued that for 15, 20 years beyond that. So, and it's like, now, you were in retirement, weren't you?
Yeah, I was living in Fort Lauderdale. Half my family lives down there. So, in fact, I was on the beach enjoying the view. and my son called me and he said, Dad, I want you to move back to Flint. And I'm like, really? I'm like, you're kidding, right? And so, he described the program. He went through what I call a spiritual awakening. He can tell you more about that maybe. That's a whole nother interview. But he called me and, he's my only child. I just have the one son, and I couldn't say no to him. And he was very passionate about what he wanted to do. And so I decided to move back here and, join him and start Flintopia.
So I noticed that, and one thing too, we talked about this in the past, we'll bring it up again for people, this might be the first conversation they've caught with us, talk with the people of Flintopia, is that you and your family have had businesses in Flint for decades, very well respected, and this is typically something a business person would look at. And of course you guys, I think Flintopia's got more of a business model in mind, at least you got objectives. It's not like a lot of nonprofits I see, they got this airiness and they have this hope for light, but they don't actually have a way of getting there.
Right.
And I think you guys are more grounded, and I think that's a good thing, very positive thing.
Well, yeah, that has a lot to do with just what you mentioned. We have deep roots in Genesee County for decades. We have a third generation family-owned business. My two younger brothers, Tom and Joe, they run the business now. They've run it for quite a few years. We were all involved in it as we were growing up. There's five boys, 2 girls in the family, and we were all involved in it in some way or other. But yeah, I like what you said about that, because I remind people, to me this is a business. Okay, it's a nonprofit, but it needs to be run like a business. This is a serious project, and it's not like we're walking around here being serious all the time. We do have fun, believe me.
Oh, yes.
We have fun in everything we do, but it still needs to be treated as on a day-to-day. It's just like running a small business. And so I'm lucky to be brought up in a family business. I have strong business background, and so yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because running Flintopia, this is a business.
It's a thing a lot of people, there's a hostility a lot of times amongst people who are involved in nonprofits towards business, which I always thought was really, really stupid. Let me put it bluntly, because basically they denigrate businesses, but they always want to go to somebody to get donations.
Right.
So I mean, it's like, I think basically you can get more flies with honey you do with vinegar. That's my thought, but because I have no hostility towards business people. And not the small business person. And then the corporations, the only way they can get away with what they're doing, because they buy politicians. Then politicians do their bidding, and then the critics of capitalism label that as capitalism. It's actually a different form entirely. It's more along the lines of mercantilism. Your family had a business where you had to provide a service that if people liked, they would continue, giving your name out to people or friends and family. So you had to do something that actually people value.
Right.
Whereas government people, they can hide when they screw up. They can always tax you more. They can silence critics, and that's the reason I don't have the issues with business people that I do the government, because the government basically they can hide their screw ups. They can when they follow things up. It's always on somebody else's back. There's no personal
They pass it
accountability.
on to
Right.
somebody
And
else.
no accountability.
Right. There's no accountability. And let's face it, the bills that they run up are on our backs. So, I mean, I have issue with that. So I'm kind of a champion of a small business person, and the people and your family owned a small business, but it was, well established and, from what I'm understanding, pretty lucrative.
Yeah, and this guy makes things happen.
Right.
I've seen him do stuff.
I've
He makes things happen.
seen
That's-
things happen.
I got to give him that. He makes things happen.
But see, I think every business has got to have somebody who can play the heavier, so they'll crack the whip or whatever. And then, I don't want to sound like that. I guess that might be considered as a bad term to use nowadays.
We are assembling here an awesome team, okay? We handpick our people. A lot of them are handpicked just from, watching them. Some are sent to us through, I say God, you know what I mean, sends them over the program. And I say to my son, this person's Flintopia material. That's how we pick them.
Right.
Okay? And we've taken our time and we assembled so far a great team, and we're going to continue to do that. We got a long ways to go, but I'll tell you what, we are like a snowball going downhill, folks. We are, we're just gaining momentum every day. This place is getting busier, more people are getting involved. We got 3 special events coming up here just in the next 2 weeks that I hope that we could maybe talk a little bit
Sure, go ahead.
about right now. Well, I'm going to have my son talk about this one because he's the one that set this up. So here, pass this down and take it right.
Thank you. This is Ground Operations. It's a documentary film about vets to farmers, and it's directed by Delaney Ellis. She'll be here to promote the film. We're going to have a potluck dinner and a panel.
What day will that be
It'll
on?
be on the 23rd,
Which,
and it will be at 5 o'clock p.m., of course. But there'll be many groups involved in Flint. Tim Collardy over at Boys and Girls Club, Edible Flint, let's see, I'll read it right here. It says, co-hosted by Heirloom Peace Gardens, Edible Flint, Volunteers of America, Flint Seed Democracy, and Flint Talk Radio. Enjoy a potluck picnic dinner, meet local farmer veterans, watch an award-winning documentary film. Share ideas, raise program funds, strengthen Flint's food system. Ground Operations, Battlefields to Farm Fields, champions the growing network of combat veterans who are becoming sustainable farmers, ranchers, and artisan food producers. You'll be rooting for these vets all the way to your local farmer's market. Sponsored by Applegate Natural and Organic Meats and Organic Valley.
you got a lot of people involved in that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
really
it's
impressive.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all thanks to Delaney and her team, and Adam specifically. He kicks butt. So
These people are coming traveling from Philadelphia.
no, she's
Aren't they where?
She's coming in from Chicago. But I think what my father was alluding to was we've established a connection with Malika Aziz from the National Exodus Council. The
Okay.
National Exodus Council is in 26 different cities, and they work with violence prevention and gang and violence prevention, and also reintegration of ex-cons into society. So that works really well with a lot of the programs that we have, like in Urban Roots, the documentary film that helped inspire this project. They had work release programs and work programs for guys who came out and would just take care of the community gardens, and they found that they were growing the food and giving it away to people. And it was healing because they said, wow, it's nice to have someone say I did something not good for a change. They're growing food for people on the street, and people come by and say, hey, your spinach is really good. This is the kind of stuff we want to do. And John Lockhart is the new president of the Exodus Council here. He's been really active in the community already with Flint's City of Peace, which is an organization he started. John Lockhart, check out the National Exodus Council on Facebook. He just put the page up, and there's more to come on that. And that's also related to, again, Time Bank Tom coming on the team. He wants to put video cameras in people's hands especially, you know, ex-cons, homeless people, anyone who wants to do it. He wants to get the man on the street perspective, and you know, he says anytime Flint's on the camera, it's bad. You know, we want to create some positive vibrations. You know, we found, it's just like Dale was saying, just by being here, you know, we find that the neighbors start to come alive. They start to come alive, come out of their houses. You know, something's happening over here. They start mowing their lawns, they start planting stuff, they come over here reading our books. Jim borrowed that soil biology book, what was it called? Teaming with Microbes. Yeah, for making notes in it, and people are really getting into the project. It's really exciting. We have a couple of groups, an aviation club that is going to have their office here, and also I Am Ill, IMIL. Google that. They have a page as well, and they're a real socially conscious group, meditators, peacemakers, people like this, and they're Flint locals who want to start meeting here as well. So we have a lot of groups that are going to start and they have been using the space. AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, NA, they use the space. We had Edible Flint meetings here. Yoga, we're working out having yoga classes on Sundays. We haven't got that worked out yet, but lots more to come. But we've come a long way from those tents. We've come a long way. And so the other events we have, you want to tell them the parade is the day.
I'll tell them about it with Flint.
Okay, sure. The parade is the day after the movie. I wish I knew what time the dang parade was. We'll post it on the Flintopia page. All this stuff will be posted on the Flintopia page with this interview. So watch out for that. But it's the day after. The 23rd is the movie at 5 p.m. and the day after that is a parade that's going to start over here by Peace Mob's.
The old school. What was the old school over here? What was it?
Homedale.
Yeah, that's where it's going to start out, and then we're going to have a route through the east side, and it's going to end up back at Homedale. And there's going to be a kids planning, what is it? Party here.
A little workshop. We're going to have Sam here. He's going to do a little workshop with the kids planting seeds, doing starters. And we have some local artists who are coming out to paint sides of the building, possibly a mural on the back, and then across the street, one of the abandoned buildings might be painted as well. So there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a cleanup over here, and we'll have a table out there. There's going to be a lot of other organizations with tables, so it's a good opportunity to just come out and network, and you know, get the same brains under the same roof, or so to speak, so we can keep doing what we're doing, because we want to create a team of leaders. We're not so much about getting press. Like, we appreciate Flint Talk Radio doing press, obviously, but we really are. We have goals in mind, and we want to work with anyone who wants to do them to achieve them. So we are willing to work with anyone.
So you got all the events covered now, right?
Yes, we
okay,
do.
because I mean those are important because we want to give people a heads up on it.
Absolutely.
And definitely next Wednesday, the 23rd, is going to be the big event. You've been telling me about for the past month or couple of months, and we've been planning for that. So I'll be here, or one of us from Flintopia will be here. I've Flint Talk Radio will be here. Obviously Flintopia is going to be here. But yeah, see, we have we also at that same time have the political forums out at the White Horse, so which actually is a good thing. It's showing that we're actually getting more. People are wanting us to go out to do more events.
Right.
The only problem is trying to find enough people to cover the events, because
Right.
there is a lot going on in the Flint area.
Right.
There's a lot going on.
Positive stuff.
It's like, well, and it's like being, basically just people drive through the neighborhoods, they dismiss the whole town because what they see in the neighborhoods, they don't actually check how are they going to really feel that, what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I'd like to thank everybody and I'll definitely want to be back, for Wednesday, and I'm also want to come, we're always going to do updates.
We want to talk about Edible Flint Garden Tour real quick.
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank Edible Flint for choosing Flintopia as our first year at garden, because you can talk to my son, it was my pet project when I started out. It was like, I went on a tour last year that started at the Old Farmers Market, okay? And it's an annual event. I believe it's the 6th year this year. Of course, it's starting at the new Farmers Market. In the afternoon, you go down there's lots of stuff going on, and then what you do is you board buses to the different parts of the city of Flint where they have gardens have been nominated, and then they come out and they choose which ones will be, visited by the buses. And Flintopia was chosen, and I was looking forward to that so bad. I just wanted to be in that tour. I thought the tour was amazing last year, and I knew that Flintopia was going to, have our first garden in the city this year. And so my prime objective was to be on the tour, and we made it. Woo!
That's an accomplishment first year.
It is. Yeah, I hope to see a lot of people here. A lot of people have been on the tour. If you haven't been on the tour, it's something you have to do. It's amazing.
We're on the north route.
Yeah, we're on the north route. Okay, that's good to know. There's different buses, so if you want to see Flintopia Garden, you can jump on the bus for the north route. And the buses are boarded down at the new farmers market. And if you haven't been there, that's an amazing place too. So you can check out the new farmers market and check out all the beautiful gardens within the city of Flint. Every year it's getting bigger and bigger, so to get chosen is harder to do because there's so many more gardens. So we want to thank Edible Flint for giving us a chance to show some of our work.
Can I
Thanks.
say one last thing?
Sure.
So my dad mentioned the tour, and GI Forum and Hispanic Technology and Community Center is right across the street from us. They're on the tour as well. Scott and Lo and Lori, we love them all, and they've been very helpful. We're neighbors, and we work together, and we love that to continue. And so everyone come out. They have Spanish classes over at the center. They give away food give-outs on Wednesdays. So it's a great resource. It's a great community place to hang out and meet people. And and if you swing by there, go across the street and see us too. So that's all I want.
Yeah,
to say.
they're on. You told them they're on tour, right?
Yeah, they're on the tour.
They're on the tour. They've been over there for 10 years. I think their garden's been around 6 or 8. They got a beautiful garden. Scott does a wonderful job over there, and we've really teamed with them since we've been here. And that's what it's all about: is building a web of people here. Conscious people in not just in the east side, but all over Flint and all over Genesee County.
I think you guys are doing part of a big thing. I think you're going to be a big thing on your own, and I'm glad to talk to you, Alvin and Stephanie. It's definitely, it was nice to meet you two, and definitely I know you two. And Sam, we really got to talk about why you're here, and was that a good career decision? That's another episode. Yeah. So anyway, I'd like to thank you for asking me to come down and talk to you, because I was like, I'm always eager to see what you guys are up to, and in an official capacity. I stopped by because I'm right down the street with the studio.
No, thank you so much for stopping by. You stop by often, John.
Yeah.
We love to see that. I know that you love what we got going on here, and we love we love you being here, giving us the publicity for sure.
So anyway, well, everybody, keep those dates in mind, and we'll post them on when this goes up. We'll have the dates written out, so you can actually contact information will be available, so you can watch this and also get it from the YouTube, video that's going to be up. So thank you, everybody, and we'll hope to see you real soon. I'll see you this coming Wednesday. I know that.
Yeah.